again.
Yeah.
That's why that Louis is picked up. It's really strong to just go ahead and, you know, ultimate down to that gold lane if you need to.
Yeah. And the reason why I say there is, well, all right, the burst, there is no question about that when it comes to like the carry. The carry, you just output so much damage in a short period of time. So they got that covered already. When I say that they needed, that they can get reach out of the carry, is that you're looking at the heroes that are melee from the side of BTR. So it's not like you have to reach too far when you're playing this carry up against the heroes of BTR. When you pick up the Malefic Gun, then you're already okay. The only problem, though, that I'm going to say about ONIC, and this also pertains to Reach, is that there is no legitimate threat to the Novaria. That's why I felt like the Novaria was a good last pick for BTR. I also predicted that it will be the case. If you're looking at this Moreno Novaria, this guy is going to have the easiest game out of all of the people in the lobby right now, because there's not much reach.
Well, let's find out. We're jumping into it. It's game one here in this best of 5 grand final. Games of the Future 2026. Will ONIC end up being champions once again? Or will Bigetron by Vitality make something happen here? Already in the mid lane, a little bit of action. Of course, poking back and forth. There's only so much that can be done. I feel like early game with the Novaria, but still, no battle spell is actually going to be expended just yet.
Yeah, pretty chill about it. Gonna be curious how ONIC will, how BTR will utilize this lineup that is really front-facing against ONIC. Apart from the Novaria, everybody wants to dive in front of ONIC. And ONIC, they do have 2 tanky dudes, but they only have 1 tool to really hold down BTR, and that is this Wrath of the Dryad, which means that Suns will have a lot of responsibilities with a duality being procced. Granted, the Wrath of the Dryad is a good tool to allow the Suns to continuously proc the duality passive, but it is going to be a difficult task for Suns for sure.
See if he's able to do it. This first turtle's up. Both gold laners going to go ahead and chill in the gold lane while this is just going to be a 4v4. Niall's going to go ahead and grab his buff, but they might just go for this. A little bit of a taunt. Unbreakable on Keyboy. He's got to go ahead and back off, disengage. Lutfi, he's got the Consecrate. They got control of this first turtle, so ONIC might be able to secure this. Let's see if they make it happen. Kyrie able to get the Retribution off, but they're going to go for the fight anyway. And Lutfi trying to get away. He's going to get chased down, and they will take him with the Daytonas. Welcome. Oh, good duality, but here comes Niall to the back line. He's got people lined up, but it's just not enough. And now the diversion going to be used. Already a couple kills for ONIC. They're looking for Niall. And Sands will get him with the double.
No way. No way Suns just did just that. I mean, 2-0-1 for this Louis. Granted, BTR, I think that was a mistake coming out from Shogun. Utilizing the Daytona's welcome and then spitting out the Uranus towards the members of ONIC. I think he wanted to maximize the stun that you get out of it, or maybe he just outright misplaced his spit afterwards. But that allowed ONIC to refresh with Lutfi. And of course, the Bats staying in front for a long time means that the duality, dispersion, the damage output of Suns will be just really high because you're just constantly throwing away your orbs, and the rotation that you get with the second skill of the Louis. Combine that together, your backlines are getting ricocheted so much that they end up just being blown away by Suns, which is literally what happened in there. And then the teleport afterwards, my God, Louis coming out from Suns, that guy's scary.
I think the Louis is going to just be a pickup that we see more and more, maybe even, unless some major changes happen between now and the next tournaments, of course, but it's working out really well, especially when you have the Wrath of the Dryad from the Belrek. It just makes things happen. Look at this. They're going for the purple buff. They want to put pressure on Niall's buff, and they'll do just that. Notice too, Kyrie on the Hirara, he locked in his Fury Hammer. Then he's starting to just go with the Sky Piercer because he wants to start building stacks early on, I believe. And that's all possible. You know, you got an early kill on, you got momentum in your favor. You're 3,000 gold ahead at this point. And now the second turtle is up. Kyrie go ahead and start this one up. Emon is here though, so now gold laners will be a part of this fight. Everybody rotating down for this objective. Half health on the turtle, unbreakable. Oh, Daytona's welcome, gonna be charged in. Shogun taking quite a bit of damage. Is it the Avatar of the Guardian? Actually, that's quite a bit of damage too as Shogun falls. Nile gets the turtle. He's gonna be able to go ahead and do a bit of damage before he gets out, but Bigetron by Vitality might have got the turtle, but they lost two.
I see the vision now for BTR. They will go for the aggressive move on Shogun with the Daytona's welcome that was going to be quickly followed up by the Avatar of the Guardian. Not literally quickly, but it will be layered properly wherein after the Daytona's welcome, you already have that Avatar of the Guardian with extra knockup and taunt afterwards. So it's a chain stun between the Barons as well as they cannot catch as they go in bottom lane.
Okay, Keyboy unfortunately going to die there, but it made sense what ONIC wanted to do. They give a kill over, and they didn't overcommit because I thought Kyrie with a couple stacks might have tried to do something, but they just kind of pull off there. That turret's almost down. That's one of the main things that ONIC wanted to go ahead and do, give Kelra that advantage. You can already see the advantage building up, though, too, in the jungle, man. Kyrie, again, a couple levels ahead right now of Nile. He's been taking his buffs. He's about to hit that level 10, and he continues to do so. Just as he does, he hits level 10. So that gives him, again, an advantage that he can work with into the next turtle. But so far, Nile at least has been able to swing in, do a little bit. Threat like this on Sands, even doing more than a little bit as he takes him out. Good play there. I didn't know if he'd be able to get him that fast, but he does.
Well, with the help of his teammates and, of course, the fact that you have a lot of damage coming out from Moreno, especially if that Astral Echo is already laid up, that allowed for BTR to burst down Suns and shut him down. Has been a problem for them for quite a while now. 6 minutes in, there's a lead that ONIC have already built, and it's 15 seconds before the next turtle. Lutpi already clearing the mid, whereas Keyboy, he wants to position aggressively as well up top. Maybe help his teammate Kelra here push before they prep for the turtle.
Yeah, so they got that push going in. Last turtle of the game is up. Still a couple thousand gold ahead right now is ONIC. Kyrie has control of this turtle. We'll see if they do anything, but Nile's just going to go down to the bot. They're going to trade it for a turret for the turtle. So they go for that. Diversion going to be used. This is what we were talking about, though. They send themselves down towards this bottom side, but that turret will be pushed. So this is about as good as it gets for Bigetron by Vitality right now. The Daytona's welcome into the turret. Astral Echo combo. The Avatar of the Guardian will be able to catch him, even with a revitalized Keyboy falls. The tree down again, but now in mid lane, Kyrie's there. They get the duality proc. He wants to get the stack here on Shogun. Does he actually have it? He doesn't. He has to get away. Too much of a threat there under the turret.
See the pressure now being applied by ONIC, and because of that they have a 2,000 gold lead, but it seems like BTR are not letting up. They're already able to push down the bottom lane and are about to push up top. Eman is moving really well. Comes to the map movements, died already twice, but at least makes up for it by split pushing and still gaining a lot of gold. He is unfortunately behind Kelra, his counterpart, but at least he's making something happen for BTR right now. Doesn't erase the fact that ONIC is leading by 2,000 and they have allowed Kelra with 1-0-1 as they go for Kyrie the dodge!
Oh, he tried to dodge. What a play from Nile and Emon. Able to make a move. Nile trying to get away. A flicker from Sans. They'll recoup it, though, as they also take down Emon. And that kill went over to Kyrie, so... but he's dead. But, you know, the turret did the job there for him.
Yeah. Eventually. I'm going to be pushing in the middle. Great kill of the Kyrie. A great shutdown overall coming out from BTR. 22 seconds before the Lord, they needed to make a play. Unfortunately for Niall, is still trailing behind a lot from his opposition right now. So there's still a lot that needs to be done here by the side of BTR for them to come back to this game. But then again, Keyboy already positioned himself into the so-called new bush. Will be spotted out by Finn for now.
Okay. Lord is up. Let's see some of the focus here. Let's see what ONIC decides to do. They can play the macro just because they have the Louis in tow. Both junglers wanting to grab their purple buffs, getting situated for this Lord fight. Oh, diversion. Diversion used here, setting them up top. Astral Echo being dropped down. They're just going to go for the fight anyway. Kyrie Be able to dodge that with the iframe. Niall's going to have to go back to base, so this is an open opportunity for ONIC to go ahead and start up this Lord. Under half health, Shogun gives the information. Finn's going to pop the conceal. They're going to try to delay this so that Niall can get here in time, but it's already gone. Lord secured by ONIC. And now Niall jumping into the backside, looking for a possible kill. He'll find Sans. A pickup there they were looking for, and now Niall again cabling away. Avatar of the Guardian, Finn trying away. Avatar of the Guardian, Finn trying to grab their attention. And Kelra takes a shot with the shatter. He's going to back off, but they're going to force a fight anyway. And now it's ONIC trying to get away, but Daytona's welcome to spin him up into the team. And now Keyboy and Loopy fall. The front line of ONIC goes down.
Oh, great team fighting coming out from BTR. They have erased the lead that ONIC was able to build, and it didn't matter if ONIC was able to blitz the Lord away from them. Their team fighting was great. And at that time, Kera didn't have the flicker, so he didn't feel that confident to command his team into a fight. And Lutpi as well as Keyboy just overstayed their welcome. And BTR utilizing Shogun again, this time offensively. I feel like for BTR, if they play like this, if they are the ones to jump the gun onto ONIC, there's little to nothing that ONIC can do. Again, their lineup is more of a dive composition, and with the vision that they get from Moreno, they are well informed about what ONIC will want to do. Look at that ultimate catching 4. The Astral Echo finding out what ONIC wanted to do, and that already meant that Niall was able to skitter through and sneak a purple buff.
Oh, wow. Talk about a turnaround so far. Niall able to make something happen here again. Just able to shred through, you know, who you'd think is the tankiest or one of the tankiest, but so far both Lutpi and Keyboy had a really difficult time at some, you know, fronting up on this front side for ONIC. Might have to be in one of those cases where now you lean towards Kelra here if you're ONIC to go ahead, and he should have his power spike. I mean, that Kelra's carry should be online, but it's more so of these fights, the way they're unfolding. They're just kind of getting outplayed by Bigetron by Vitality.
Yeah, sure. This makes it really difficult now for ONIC. With the composition that Vitality has, this is very oppressive. You really have to find a way to get to the Navaria, which we said that we'll have a free game essentially in this game, and it has been so. Moreno is 2-0-4. There's not much that can contest him. And then eventually Shogun will be so tanky that he is no longer threatened by the damage of ONIC. Well, Kelra is always going to be a threat, but you are tanky enough that you expose Kelra for far too long. So there has to be a creative way of ONIC finding an angle to eventually take out BTR. Otherwise, it's going to be easier for BTR to maneuver into the fights. They're already going for the diversion play, but they're not going to find anyone.
Well, they'll find Kyrie's buff anyway, so he's not going to have that. The Lord comes up. Emon will make his way slowly down here. The rest of the team already set up, but you can see in this, man, the Star Shatters, even on Loopy, already do a decent chunk of damage to the health bars. Moreno dropping down the Astral Echo. Extra hitboxes being extended here too. Now Keyboy, he's got to be careful because we've already seen him shredded down so quickly on this Belric, especially with a Fanny flying around. Emon spotting the Loopy here. They might try to make a play instead of the Lord. We're in now ONIC on the back front. They got to go ahead. Keyboy, oh man, a quarter of the health.
Yeah. Whew. And Niall is already working on the Lord this time. He's low. But be careful. Kyrie forced to pop one of the iframes. You can see how menacing Eman is right now with this Paquito. He's going to be able to burst down the members of ONIC. And then if you pair that up with Moreno's damage output and the constant Astral Echo in the face of ONIC, it's going to be more difficult.
Avatar of the Guardian on the defense already used. ONIC comes in with a diversion. And after that push up top by Niall, that wave's going to be managed now. They're going to fight for this Lord. Half health on it. Finn charging up the Unbreakable. Goes in with a taunt. They're going to come down for Keyboy. They get him out. Kyrie, he's down too. Make it another as Sans is able to pick up Shogun. So far, a big trade across the board. But now Iman and Moreno trying to keep things together while Niall's also on the hunt here. He's quite low, but he'll be able to secure the Lord. Bigetron by Vitality comes out with a win.
And all they had to do was to find a man advantage. It was already enough for them to take out the members of ONIC. This time again, ONIC just can't position themselves properly. They tried to go for a cheeky diversion play, which was, with all due fairness, ambitious but almost got there, almost taking out the outplay coming out from Suns to survive against Nael. But that was just for BTR to secure that turret because it will be just the Luyi to defend. It wasn't successful in doing so. ONIC now have lost control of the game as BTR are leading by 3,000. And all it took was for them to punish ONIC when ONIC tried to go for a 5v5 against them.
Let's see if they can do it here. Lord slowly making its way. Good push in the mid and top as well. Daytona's welcome. Throwing in the wall. Chopping him up, throwing him down. Keyboy gonna pop the Revitalize. They want to hold down this front side. Niall's just gonna make his way up top. He wants to take out the base turret as Lord goes down and dealt with, but good response from Kyrie. He won't let it happen. Diversion. Where are they gonna go? Into the jungle. They're looking to cut things off. They're gonna go right to this one. And now Finn gets taken out. But Emon, is he gonna try to do this? Oh no, he's fully stacked up. He's stacked up. He's gotta get out of enemy lines. He's waiting patiently. It's only Loot B.
Yeah, for now, it's not a big threat. Information is imported. Could be gonna be seeing Eman get away from there. Good fight coming up from ONIC. Go for the -1, but it's not nearly enough. Niall wants a piece of this purple buff. They're trying to go for the exchange, but it's Kyrie who secures it.
Thanks for the leash, says Kyrie. He's basically, do a little damage with the buff. Finally, Kyrie gets his purple. He's going to go ahead and grab his orange next. Yeah. Really nothing that they really want to focus on until that Lord comes up in about a minute, but if... Maybe if they can get a kill here. Maybe if they can get a kill, make something happen. Again, Lord's not going to be up for 40.
Yeah. It's going to be a long time for both teams to recover this one. Kyrie going in for the Blade of Despair as his 5th full item in this game. Lutpi actually went for the Sky Guardian helmet, which I wanted to talk about earlier, which is interesting because you generally want resistance rather than raw HP as well as regeneration because you have plenty of that anyways. But I guess because of the amount of poke that BTR is throwing at him, it feels like, okay, maybe during long team fights, during Lord dances, maybe I can get out of the fight, regen up by myself, and then try to fight another day. But now in comes the Lord, spawned at 17 minutes. ONIC will defend their bottom lane. A little bit of long lane setup out there coming out from Lutpi. Diversion gonna be used. And BTR just...
They want to go for Shogun. They're going to go right for Shogun. He didn't have the stacks. And now he's taken out. They're going to go and dissipate. Keller's got the room to work with here, but oh, Niall goes in. Moreno will cap out the kill even with a wind of nature. So BTR turns it around to fall. They're going to be looking for more. They're chasing down Kyrie. Moreno might be able to get a shot. Niall's going to go ahead and join in. Cable's not going to connect on that one. That's not where he wanted, but he gets Loot B anyway. BTR will win that fight. And it was one that ONIC started for Shogun. Niall jumping in. He takes out Keyboy like cutting down a tree. And now it's only Kyrie to watch the base turret down. He's got to try to dodge, but he can't. They get wiped out. And BTR will take game 1.
Both teams getting what they want. So maybe...
Is that the Sky Piercer,
okay.
man?
Oh, yeah.
I can't read the text, right. But that's a Sky Piercer, though.
Seems like it. Yeah, I think Granger is the best option here for ONIC, or maybe Harith second as the second best option. But there's the Hayabusa as well. Okay, so they still pick up the Harith. Yeah, those are the only 2 options I feel like that will be good for ONIC. But already I like the composition that the BTR has built here.
Leave it to BTR to just do some weird things, you know? Like we said this going into game 1. It got them game 1, and then now, I think this is interesting. Again, because you've got great tankiness up front in that front line. You've got a great ability to go ahead and revive, get yourself back into this game. We'll see if we are on Flying Clouds or not, or which map we're in once we get to this game. But I like what BTR is doing, man. And again, the Rafaela helps you even more because you can rotate very quickly. You can stun if you need to. the Hayabusa is really squishy, right? But now that you kind of have some ground to cover with your sustainability with the Rafaela, I think that's really great here. So I don't know, man. I like what BTR has. I think I'm going to have to go ahead and lean towards BTR for this game too, Wolf. I think we might potentially see a 2-0 right now, but you guys, of course, if you guys are watching around the globe with us, you guys can let us know who you think has the upper hand in this. Let's jump into the game. It's game at 2 in this best of 5. Bigetron by Vitality up 1 in the series. Let's see if ONIC can equalize.
Yeah. Already the setup here for BTR is good. It seems like whenever they play against ONIC, they transform and just know exactly what to do and deal with ONIC. ONIC has been so dominant all throughout this tournament, and it seems like it's BTR that has got their number. And that's also true with MPL Indonesia. Everybody was just dropping their games up against ONIC. ONIC are so dominant, but in comes BTR coming in, and they look like they are the better team against ONIC. It seems like we're feeling that again. Not unless ONIC decides otherwise. Not unless they do something really different right now for them to be able to show us something, some sort of fight against BTR, especially with this draft that they built. Gonna be starting with here in the middle.
Yeah, something along the lines of, I don't know, I think it's more of just ONIC finding that form of execution. You know, it's the team fights. Like, we already know that all these players are individually, you know, some of the best in their roles, and they had an amazing, you know, last meeting with the grand final that they had. Hold on, mid lane, first blood going over to Kyrie, but here's the return. Shadow kill going to be used. Revive comes through, and now it's Nile that falls. So that's not going to be worth for Bigetron by Vitality, and that's 2 kills in the hands of Kyrie.
Great start again for the side of ONIC. This time they've utilized Kyrie in an offensive manner before the 2-minute mark. They identified that if you are able to force out where Moreno is, this is a good opening for them, and they do have to reach.
Okay, they might be able to go ahead and just make something happen. They get the turtle. Now they're going to be looking for more. Shogun, tanky enough. Nile might just want to go ahead and grab his purple buff. Even though there's a lot of low health bars, never mind. He goes in. He's able to pick up Lootby. So that's 1 kill, but now ONIC, they know this. They're going to put pressure on the mid, and out we go. Finn's gone. They're going to be looking for more. BTR firing back, but now it's Kelra to get a kill. Man, ONIC looking for more, but they got to keep Kyrie alive. This is the most action we've seen under 3 minutes in a while, man. That's
for sure.
That's insane. I think the entire game's the future.
Yeah, and that's 6 kills in what, 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Yeah.
A quick activation of Kelra as well. I really like how ONIC is doing it because now they're calling Kelra into the fights very early on, and he gets a kill. So never mind the fact that Claude versus Harith is more of a farming battle in that gold lane, that the only time that you actually will die in that lane is if you really mess up, or if there's an external effort from other players into that lane. But having Kelra in the middle is really good. Can they take out Sans? Yes, he can.
I thought they'd have enough shielding there from Keyboy, but Sans goes down anyway. So both junglers are having a hell of a start here, Wolf. You know, 3-1 on Nile, 3-0 on Kyrie. This is going to be the assassin showdown that we want to see.
Yeah. And we're going to be waiting for that to happen for Nile with 3-1 right now. But it seems like it's all about the targeting. The first time that they used this Hayabusa, it wasn't as impactful because the targeting wasn't that good. But if you see like Sans, for example, getting picked off in the middle, the timing was perfect for BTR. They are looking at the Hayabusa that's really scary, that can be activatable. Because apart from the healing coming out from the Matilda, there's not much that they can do against this Hayabusa.
Oh man, Kelra. I mean, the shadow kill's already used up, so Nile's not going to be able to find Kelra here, but Nile building up very quickly. This is very different from the Hayabusa game we saw him play against Pro Esports in the first game, where they actually lost that one. Right now, he's hit that kind of potential to just snowball, but opposing him is the Kyrie snowball. So you got 2 snowballs going down a hill right now. Oh, they're going to be looking for Nile, and they shut him down. And it goes to Kyrie, of all people, who's already got the Sky Piercer.
Cool. They will resurrect him, but what a play coming out from ONIC. as they now use their game sense to find where Niall will be. They secure a purple buff for themselves as well. They take it away from Niall, so that was a costly debt for the Hayabusa, not having... oh, doesn't have the purple buff, but yeah, they're trying to invade as much as possible.
Kyrie has lived in his jungle.
Yep, for sure. And they're doing it again.
Oh, they're doing it again. They know his retribution's down, so they're going to take the buff. And you can see, man, Kyrie's got an XP lead. Oh, they're going to re-engage. Shadow Kill going to be used on Sans. He's still going to be okay with the shields, though. And now the rest of the team join it. Both gold laners going at it. Blaze and Do It was already used. They're going to go for collapsing down on Niall. They'll take up, but whoa, what a shot from the Maestro Moreno. This is what we were worried about. If you're opposing this Novaria, they're going to go for more. Echo drops down. Keyboy trying to bob and weave. He has to burn the flicker, and he should be able to survive. He's got some shields, but hold on. Moreno's going to line one up, and also the gold lane. Kyrie's looking for Emon. Emon goes in, breaking the ankles, but Kyrie goes in to get another stack.
Oh, Kyrie is back 5-0-2. Game 1 was more of a warm-up game for him, so it seems that this time is actually showing his prowess as the assassin. Trying to outplay a lot of people out there in the bottom lane, eventually getting 2 kills for himself, 5-0-2. I would assume 3 or 4 stacks from the Sky Piercer. Going to be a really good start now for this Hirara coming out from ONIC. Now, they are just leading by 1,000 though, because BTR, with all due fairness, they are retaliating. And the kill onto Kelra coming out from the Maestro is good. So, ONIC cannot celebrate that yet, this game just yet, especially because BTR are showing their teeth now. They're showing that they can actually fight into this neutral objective.
Seems like they want to continue to fight here. Half health, last turn of the game. Will this be a 3-for-3 for ONIC? Moreno lining things up. Both Astro Echoes being used here. They're going to go for it. It goes to Kyrie, able to secure it. Shadow Kill going to be used. Into the Zaman Force they go. Now Loopy looking for an opening here too, but Kelra's able to take out the gold laner, Emon from BTR. They're going to be going for Shogun too, as Sans picks one up for himself. Finn's going to burn the flicker, and ONIC, they're going to be happy with that little sidestep too here. Potentially a re-engage. They just back off. Sounds very low. Thread in the needle. Moreno going for the shot, but just not enough distance on there. And they'll take the tier 1 after the fight. Oh, Kelra.
Over the dance. Win! 2 quick kills for Kelra. That's not a double, but he did take out Emon before that, which is going to be so good for ONIC. They are now gaining ground. 7 minutes and 40 seconds in. They lead by 3,000. They're feeding kills into Kelra, and most importantly, onto Kyrie. And already, there's a big change when it comes to the non-verbal cues. You're looking at the camera for ONIC. If you're looking at their camera, I mean, everybody's so happier. Every now, it's lighter now. The ambience around the ONIC side of the stage. And BTR, can they actually mount a comeback here? It's the War Access was the Hunter Strike only for Niall at this point.
Ooh, okay. This is still relatively close, it seems, based on the team fights. Now there's a gold lead for ONIC right now. They're going to be taking the purple buff, though. They continue to put pressure towards Niall. And now Kyrie, level 13. I know Niall's almost a level 11, but still, you're seeing, you know, this pressure on his buff, the pressures on his green camps. ONIC is able to go ahead and take what they can, but amidst this all, you know, they only have 2 turrets down. They're eventually going to get 3 here as Kelra knocks the top one off. But it looks like BTR wants to go ahead and open up the map a little bit themselves too before the Lord comes up. But they don't just get that turret just in time now. Oh, could this potentially be bad? Good coverage from Moreno though.
Be setting up for this Lord this time, and the long lane has been pushed heavily in favor of ONIC. There are 5 members of ONIC around here. They're going to be waiting for the Novaria ultimate. So there's a lot of stuff that's not going in favor of BTR right now. So it seems like ONIC are just going to take this Lord away from him.
Yeah, this is a Lord that they control the domain over. They'll go ahead and grab themselves the Lord. Now ONIC can start to look to take down tier 2 turrets. I'm not sure if they're going to get to the base ones just yet based off the way that BTR has been fighting. They can try to maintain what they can. Again, Emon might have to go ahead and utilize Blaze and do it here, but their clear is pretty good. And he's going to go ahead and push that top one up top. potentially deal with the Lord too. Actually, he's going to go back to base as tier 2 bottom side will be taken by ONIC. So now BTR on the defense. Niall, oh no, he's actually going to get stopped from recalling. He's going to be able to escape this, but Kyrie is going to chase him down. Oh, he goes back. Let's go. He's going to go into the jungle, and now they're going to hunt him down. Niall's going to have some fancy footwork for this.
Oh, no.
He gains some space, but oh, Keyboy's going to chase him down anyway, utilizing the flicker, and he goes back to the shadow, but Niall's got nowhere to go after this. He's been hunted down. Let's see if he can take out some minions. He's going to buy a little bit more time for the rest of the team until he's eventually taken out by Kyrie, and that's another stack for Kyrie.
Yeah. With all the fairness, Niall actually showed some really good moves out there, using his quad shadow to eventually disjoint the circling eagle. But enough time for BTR to gather themselves and defend top, especially because there is no ONIC. There's not much ONIC heroes that to force this issue out, but no, they will still go for this ONIC.
Oh, Loopy falls. Shogun could be next here. They're going for it. Shogun, oh, barely surviving. BTR will be able to go ahead and defend. They maintain that top holy defense shield. A shot on Kyrie, but still, I think they're happy with that. Again, as I mentioned with that first Lord, they just want to go ahead and get the tier 2s down, potentially take out some base shields, but they don't get all of them. So I'd still say Bigetron by Vitality admits it all. I know they're 5,000 gold behind, but they're still holding on. What they're going to start playing into is now Emon's power spike. That's one of the main things. He's got the Purify, so part of what ONIC wants to do is get that, pop that Purify, make something happen here. But even Niall's got to look for that window, right? That opening to go ahead and use that shadow kill to either follow through after the damage of the blaze and do it maybe, or maybe vice versa on how they want to approach that. But let's see if BTR can still fight into this. They still have 30 seconds before that Lord comes up.
Yeah. I mean, using the ultimate again, the Astral Echo to find 2 and maybe just poke Keyboy. Niall is, utilizing his ultimate. A very ambitious one at that, although you can see the progress. Okay, the defense coming out from ONIC.
Shogun just standing there menacingly, saying, you guys got to go through me, basically. A lot of ultimates being expended, but now attention toward this buff to try to take it away. Kyrie will be able to do that. So this is all part of the plan, I feel like, for ONIC.
Yeah, especially if they're forcing the Astral Echo out, right? So it will now be available, fortunately. Well, I guess Moreno knows exactly what the cooldown is, and he timed it perfectly for the alert to be up. So now they're ready. Hayabusa is going to be split pushing top for a little bit of defense on the long push, but ONIC feels like they can burst.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and fight for this Lord. It looks like they want to just give this one a go. BTR in space. Loopy quite low. He's going to guiding win on out. Now Niall jumping in with a shadow kill. They're looking for a kill. He's able to go ahead and proc the stack, taking out Loopy. Winter Crown going to be used by Kelra, but Kelra could be next, and he goes down too. And now ONIC falling apart in the Lord fight again as Keyboy and Kyrie are trying to run away, but what a shot! Again from the Maestro, man. They have to get rid of this Novaria because that's going to be a Lord going to BTR.
Unbelievable coming out from BTR. Again, winning out of nowhere. They were down by so much. They've raised the lead by ONIC. They're now pushing. They're about to take the lead for themselves because only Kyrie is left. And with the Rafaela, it means that longer team fights means that you will be topped up. It's going to be a difficult defense now for ONIC. And even if you eliminate one, the resurrection will be there. So Vitality, they are just taking everything away from ONIC right now.
So quick to turn that around, Wolf. Again, playing on the back foot. They dealt with the first Lord pushing it in their base, and then all of a sudden, Bigetron by Vitality now has control in this game. They took out one of the base turrets of ONIC. It's their turn to go ahead and take some green camps and resources from them, and they still have this Lord making its way down bot, looking to go in, crash into this bottom base turret while the wave up top works on the tier 2. They're going to force a fight anyway. Shadow kill going to be used to get them low enough to get them to back off the turret as the turret falls. Now ONIC, you got to deal with this Lord. Half health on it. Wave's going to go ahead and push up top. Can they get more? Sans has to be careful. Half health. These procs and these star shatters are so deadly if you're ONIC. Right now, BTR might potentially make another go on that last base turret, lining it up with the Astral Echo. They're going to throw it down. Again, a Shadow Kill going to be used. They have to get enough space. Keyboy in trouble. Lootby going to go use a Daytona's Welcome, but a shot from Moreno is going to bring him low, and it's Lootby that falls. But they have to disengage. A BTR is happy with the base turrets down. Oh, Kyrie jumping in. Holy Baptism going to be used, but he's able to avoid it. And now it's just 5 full force for BTR. They've got a cannon minion and another wave pushing up top. They might want to end it here to get to a 2-0 lead right now in the series, but the waves are going to be cleared out as ONIC stays in it. Kelra dropping down the Zaman Force. They get a nice stun out with the circling eagle, but Kelra is gone. He's blasted down. Moreno lines up a shot on Sands. He has to go heal back up, but they're still going. Kyrie gets shut down, and this mid wave should be enough. Lootby, he's got no stacks here. They're going to go for it anyway. An Echo drop down. A double for Iman, the man. And they're going to work on the crystal to take game 2.
The masters of the poke strategy, and with this sustain coming out from the Rafaela, and a lot of good stuff that you see from Nael as well as of this series, in fact, when it comes to drafting, especially now that they picked up this Sicilian. I wonder what they close it out with. They're going to be looking for their jungler. What if they are the ones to pick up the Balmond?
Oh, man.
I think it makes
Imagine
sense.
if they go Balmond, they take one. Okay. Oh, they're doing the... Okay, they're just having fun with it, right? I mean, Bigetron by Vitality up 2-0. It's match point. They're doing the combo,
What is the jungle?
man.
What is the jungle?
It's Carmilla. It's Carmilla.
Carmilla jungle. All right.
Yeah. It's the
doing the
Carmilla
combo.
jungle. We even saw this in MST. We even saw
That's
this
right.
in
That's
MST.
right. You're
So,
right.
Carmilla jungle with the Sicilian. Are we... Don't tell me. They're gonna... I mean, is there some crazy stuff that they can do with the interactions, you know, and this is just, it's gonna feel a little weird, but I think it's also gonna put a statement out there if this ends up being a win for Bigetron. How you feeling about it, Wolf?
Okay, so I always like pocket picks. I wanted this Carmilla Sicilian to be successful actually so many times before. So yeah, I like it. I think that this game with the Mathilda, there's a lot of sustain. Again, they will try to out-sustain ONIC. What they're gonna do here is to poke ONIC continuously, force some ultimates, then try to survive with some iframes out there, which will be available for their Carmilla as well as their Sicilian. So yeah, this lineup rules, and I feel like it's not easy to pull off because it's so late game centric and it's so item dependent. But BTR have shown us in games 1 and 2 that they can make things like this work.
Well, we're going to find out if this is going to work or not. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. It's game 3 here, potentially the last one. Games of the Future 2026. Bigetron by Vitality is at match point against last year's champions, ONIC. Will they be able to go ahead and get it in a sweep with this lineup? Or will ONIC take one game and extend this series? We'll find out here. A lot, again, I think has to rely on the potential to make this work. Here's one thing though, Wolf. You can't let this get to the late game, man.
Yes,
because otherwise, like we've seen before, Sicilian is just going to be stacked up, and it's not going to be a fun time if you're ONIC.
No. So how do they deal with that? They're going to be using this Marcel to be aggressive. Maybe the third turtle is super important here for ONIC. That's why I feel like that also coincides with the fact that the Hayabusa will now get the important items. They ask it will reach critical mass. And of course the Brody. You got to be very intentful with your Brody when you draft it. That means that you have to activate it properly. And we will see how Kelra will play with this hero. To be fair, they will have to go through a lot of sustain coming out from BTR. But if they do get the burst, the initial burst, which they are very scary with, they can actually stop what BTR wants to do.
Oh, Shogun. Okay, he'll Guiding Wind on out, but the Shadow Kill is going to be enough to get that first blood in the hands here of Kyrie. Oh, the Sanguine Claws. And then they get trapped into it. Kyrie goes down. Good use of the claws there into the back. Impact. And now this turtle is up, but they'll just wait. They can go ahead and wait for Shogun to get back to this. Again, Broken Wall is going to keep that turtle there. There's a Feathered Airstrike coming down. Artillery. It's going to take out Nile now. Bigetron, do they just want to try to capitalize this on the turtle? They're going to go for it, and Sans will secure the turtle. But Moreno does fall, and now Bigetron trying to disengage from it.
Oh. And everything fails. It's gonna be Sans to save it. Look at that wonderful play coming out from Sans. Pushing this Farsa, of course, with the feathered airstrike at the last moment so that they can take out the Carmilla. And good shot calling overall coming up from ONIC. We don't know exactly who made that call to still fight even when Kyrie has been lost to them, as Lutpi will be able to take a kill down the bottom with the aid of his teammate out there. So again, ONIC starting real strong, just like in previous 2 games.
Okay, now they have to maintain the kind of lead that they've already built for themselves up to this point. We'll see if they're able to do that. I think this is just a call for a readjustment that everyone's kind of needed. It's not that they haven't controlled the early game in the past 2 games. It's just somehow it's slipped through, and now they put pressure on Emon. Feathered airstrike dropped down. Kelra's going to be able to get a couple shots off. He already used the torn apart memory, so Emon's going to survive. Are they going to rotate up there? You know, he's still dealing with pressure, but they want to go for this anyway. Golden hour used up. Niall's looking for his own steal. He's going to get trapped into this, but the fight's already going to break out, so Niall is still there. Shadow kill going to be used. He's going to take the majority of that damage. Oh. So Niall is gone, and now next is Finn. Sans, and they're looking for more, and Moreno will fall too, so ONIC will find nearly everything they wanted.
Every single thing that they want. They can even take out their third energy shields in here with Kelra being in there, so that's a lot of extra gold that you're given to your gold laner. Gets back and pushes it. Oh. Gets a kill afterwards. Eman then taken out. Sans is on a different planet right now. We always say that Sans has always been one of the best mid laners out there. He plays so well. Whenever he is on, man, he is really, really on.
Yeah, this game, Sans decided, you know what, guys, let me take this game in my hands, at least for now. But it's just been different because of the pace that they're able to set. You know, this is also ONIC's turtle go ahead and take. You got Kyrie swinging over there. Everybody is a big threat to Bigetron by Vitality right now in this game. And Keyboy, too, on the Marcel, which we usually see banned out. There's a reason why it was prioritized, picked up. He's able to go ahead and provide so much information and just be annoying. I mean, look at him right now, just staying in the jungle over of Bigetron by Vitality. And also, again, with this kind of unique pick, maybe this is one of those cases where they oh my goodness, Lutpi, yep, he took the purple. Lutpi got the purple, okay. So that maybe it's one of those cases, Wolf, where they just kind of overcooked, and Sans gets another one on Emon.
Yeah, sometimes there are just games where you are so ahead and you are incentivized by being so aggressive. Sometimes you're not, but this game definitely is a game that incentivizes aggression from ONIC, as they are now controlling the map and they're taking so much away from BTR. However, it still is the early game, right? If there's anything that we've learned from the past 2 games that we've seen, is that you're never going to be complacent if you're ONIC. There could be a lot of angles for BTR to eventually come back from this game.
Yeah, this is, okay, Shogun, he just tried to do what he could. He knew that he was caught out. The rest of the team's fighting in the mid lane, though. There's just not enough damage. I mean, Loopy enough, able to take those bad impacts, and now jumping forward, Keyboy has to flicker, but there goes a kill to Emon. He's able to go ahead and trade, so it's the XP laner for the roam. The kill that Bigetron by Vitality needed here, but they're still massively behind. Yes, we've seen this before, but not this much of a deficit in between both teams, and it's about 6,000 gold. So we'll see. Bigetron by Vitality needs to cover some grounds. BTR, though, they can try to push this tier 1 turret, but look who's around the corner. Kyrie's here. They know it. They've got to go ahead and get back, because Sans is also rotating up. They want to go ahead and fight this. Looking for a feathered airstrike. They're going to drop it down. Retribution used. Emon trapped by himself. Doesn't have Finn next to him, so he goes down. That's unfortunate.
No, unfortunate, but at the same time, ONIC are now in a spot where they can control this turtle because of that. The push up top also, my comments as the Brody is there. As long as they see the Moreno Sicilian, they know that they can push. From the other side, of course.
Yeah, this is one of those things where, yep, 3 for 3 turtles go in the hands of ONIC. ONIC has ballooned the lead up a little bit further now, almost 8,000 gold. And it's this is why we were saying, you know, it's the case of you just don't want to allow this to get to the late game. There's still potential that it can, but I mean, in this case, for ONIC, it would look really bad if somehow this game got away from them. Just because you don't take this kind of lead, face against this kind of composition, and let that happen. You know, there's just no way I can see that happening. This is one of those games, like you said, Wolf, where, you know, it might be one of those instances where it's just go again, you know, get us to the next one. Because right now it's just too much. And ONIC, you know, they got to wait for the Lord to come up, and there's still a minute and a half, so they're just going to go try to get the shield down here. Feathered Airstrike being dropped down. They want to push this wave in, but they can't get the shield just yet.
It'll be settling with this one for now, as they're slowly trickling down the resources of BTR. If they are oppressive this time with this Brody, I think they can easily take this game. And especially you cannot wait for when the Bat's impact coming up from Moreno is too much to handle and you're not able to push anymore. And you're gonna be put in a game where it's finding Moreno all the time.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in that spot for sure.
Yeah, they're going to put pressure here. Tier 1 and the base. Feathered Airstrike dropped down. Emon in trouble. Has to get away again, but Sans will burn him on down. Able to take one, and now Golden Hour are going to be dropped. Trapped in it, but Turret goes down first, and they go back to the fountain to heal up. And that's going to be the shield popping up finally here in the mid. They might be able to get the bottom, too, with 10 seconds still on the death timer of Emon. Rockets being thrown out here. Dragon Shogun back. Kelra is able to get a couple stacks here. Still tanky enough to go ahead and take that damage. Feathered Airstrike once again, but they hold on to the shield.
You hold down the jump. They want to try to go for an exchange here, BTR, but they can't. 5 seconds before the Lord has happened. So these are the games, these are the moments, specific moments that you have to look out for if you're on it, because these were the moments where you lost from the previous game. So
look at the jungle, man.
Yep, it's all on it.
The Carmilla is just, it wasn't it.
Yeah.
We've seen him before, but you're down 3,000 gold. And I think all he had was, what, Cursed Helm and another half item, basically, at this point. I mean, that is not where you want to be. I'm sure this one, once again, is probably, I don't think it's going to be an ending push here with this Lord, despite being up this much, but because they can still relatively clear out these waves, they can still hold on, but they might lose all the base turrets, especially since the shields were worked on, and ONIC got all these waves lined up. So they're going to start approaching the base here.
Yeah. The last time this happened, though, BTR were able to find something, so you got to be careful if you're ONIC.
Feathered Airstrike being thrown down. Golden Hour already used, too. They're going to clear out that Lord. It's nearly taken down this mid turret. They're going to jump in with the shadow kill. I thought Kyrie was going to use it. He actually holds on to it. So still, the Lord is cleared out. Now this bottom wave pushing forward. Bigetron, this is what we were talking about. This lineup allows them to clear these waves. And this whole time, this is the thing. Moreno's getting stacks here. Once again, they got to press onto this turret. A Feathered Airstrike dropped down. They're holding on, though. Clear out the waves.
Okay, not too bad at all. Not too shabby at all for BTR, but they do lose their mid lane turret, which is going to be annoying for them to deal with. And now there is going to be the purple buff take coming out from side of ONIC. 90 seconds. That's another important milestone here for ONIC that they have to really be careful about, because not only were these moments the turning points in the previous games, but also it is a point where you're gonna see whether or not you can actually take out the Sicilian, because Sicilian eventually will be a problem. Right now it isn't, but eventually it will.
Daytona's welcome. You're gonna go ahead and throw Shogun down really low. Can't escape, and now trapped in the golden hour. Finn circling Eagle. The rest of the team taking the shadow kill here too. They're trying to get back to the base, but Keyboy jumping forward. Moreno's still going to be able to survive because of the health. And now Finn in trouble. Kyrie will just go ahead and grab this one. It might take him a little bit longer, but Finn knows it. He's gone. And now the rest of the team of ONIC in this base with a wave pushing in. They've got the full force. Kyrie might not even need to be here for this, but they're going to do what they can. BTR on the defense, trying to clear out the waves. Daytona's welcome. Going to be used. Winter Crown. There's the Feathered Airstrike. They take out Nile. Lootby's in trouble, though. He does fall as Shogun's able to get it. The Shadow Kill is already going to be used. Now they have to heal up, but they're looking for more. They have the stacks there, and they're going to go for Emon. They're going to lock down on the Crystal. They've got a wave of cannon minion, but BTR will still be able to defend.
They hang on. They use the golden hour, I guess, to stop any kind of progression coming out from BTR. But I guess they just are aiming to get this Lord for themselves, which they will, freely, style. They have inflated their own lead by about 13,000 now. 13,000 gold. And there still is a chip on their shoulder. Because of whatever happened in games number 1 and 2, you cannot be complacent if you are ONIC. But you have a titanic lead now, though, with 2 turrets also down in the middle. So there's a lot that they can work with. Naisu, would you feel like there is still an angle where BTR eventually wins in this game?
Oh, man. That's so... I feel like that answer lies on if Moreno can stay alive. And Emon, I mean, even for Emon, you know, on this carry, he's kind of had a really tough game, honestly. Moreno's going to go ahead and try to clear this wave. Shogun will go ahead and tank this up, but this is an opening for ONIC to go ahead and take. Consecration's already going to be popped, too. They displace him a bit. Feathered Airstrike going to be dropped down, and Moreno still going to be alive. He takes a couple shots from Kelra, but they're going to clear out the Lord, and now Shogun falls. The front line is gone. Emon doing what he can, guiding wins on out, but they clear out the wave again. And now BTR, they got to clear out this Canyon Minute and the wave in mid, but ONIC eyeing the base, eyeing the crystal here. They want to go for it. They're going to go in, just a last-ditch effort, trying to stay in as Finn is gone, and now it's too long for Shogun to be up, so a Feathered Airstrike's dropped down. Emon is working on what he can, but the crystal's going to go to ONIC anyway. Finally, ONIC makes it a series.
And with that amount of lead, about 13,000 and even more, I guess, stability. And a lot of ways to approach the game. It's not mid-game centric only. It's not late-game centric only. There's so many ways for them to approach team fights. And with this Farsa, where Suns was heating up in the previous game, it allowed them to really piggyback off of that. But same can be said for BTR. I think that their lineup is pretty solid in a way that it has a lot of options.
Oh, kill squad Shogun! He popped the Revitalize, but he is going to eventually go down unless Finn can take him out. Oh, what a guiding wind save, but now can he bob and weave? Oh, Shogun tried. First blood go in the hands of Lutby. What a move. What a plan, man.
That's interesting. But at the same time, would they achieve anything out of that? Maybe this is the only time that they can do that, you know? And it happens to be in game number 4, so I think it's safe, because if they want to extend the series, then that's really some sort of the early game shenanigans that they really wanted to utilize. And the thing is, they only had to pop the flicker onto Lutpi, so there's not much that they had to do for that one to work. It did work. First skill going in for ONIC.
Yeah, this is the XP lane is just kind of funny because it's a Barrett and a Hylos, you know, and like we mentioned in the draft, you usually don't see some of these heroes in those roles. They're going to go for Lutby, though. Niall's up here, but Lutby's tanking enough. You really can't commit to that. So one of the things is XP expected to be kind of a dead lane, right? It's mostly what they're capable of doing when these turtles come up, especially now that it's on their side. They want to go ahead and have those level 4s. If you think about value, though, who's the better value? The Glorious Pathway ultimate for Hylos or the Daytona's Welcome from Lutby?
Yeah, it really depends on the situation, I feel like. But generally speaking, most of the situations, I feel like 90 to 10 is going to be the ultimate coming out from Lutby. The Daytona's Welcome. Especially with all these top XP laners, I feel like they have been so good controlling and piloting this Barretts, and they're very sneaky with it, and I'm just happy to see a lot of good stuff from them.
Oh yeah, Joker just laying down his own pathway to death, it felt like on that one. That's going to be a kill going over. They're looking for more. Emon, a little bit late to that, but they do find a Kelra. Good pickup in response by BTR, although the turtle went to ONIC.
Yeah. I think you're happier if you're BTR, actually, because ONIC giving away some kills is always bad when it comes to the first turtle fight. I feel like kills are more important, but because of that, oh my god, Keyboy. What a snag. That's the reason why we say the Ruby is somehow a counter to the Fanny.
Yeah, this is going to be trouble. Guiding Wind. Oh, good usage. Don't run Wolf King. Feathered Airstrike down. Emon bobbing and weaving, using the stun too. He's actually going to be able to survive. Really good usage of his own kit to stay alive in that Feathered Airstrike. Good play there. But now there's some more pressure. Kyrie's going to be a little bit too late to that, but he is going to take a green camp over. And you can see he's got a lead now, a level ahead of Nile. Nile getting caught in that bush was very detrimental to him, at least for now.
Yeah. I don't want that to happen at all. It's going to be some movements here coming out from ONIC here in the bottom lane where you have to now think about Kara because you're fine with the other heroes already, right? Here, Luffy's fine, Keyboy is having a great time. Sans is definitely having a great time. And Kyrie, by extension, is safe. So you're going to have to think about Kelra now if you're ONIC. How do you activate this Paquito? It seems like the response is to force some rotations into the first turtle, or in the second turtle, I mean, where it is nearby the Kelra lane.
Okay. So at this point, what do you look for if you're a BTR? You know you had not really a chance in that last turtle, so now you want to go ahead and try to make it happen. Obviously, Shogun, he's going to have to watch where he puts down this glorious pathway, but Ludpi is pretty much doing the same thing. So Shogun just doesn't want to get caught into a Daytona's welcome and thrown into the opposing team while the rest of the team isn't ready. So buffs are secured. Kyrie's going to go ahead and make his way. Same thing with Nile. He's got both of his. So it's going to come down to an entire team fight for this one. Actually, Purple's just coming up. Daytona's welcome on Nile as he's thrown out already. Eternal Guard going in and knocking them up. But Moreno is gone. And now without Moreno, this is a tough one. Bigetron is just going to have to give this up. So Turtle should just go over to ONIC. He's going to grab his purple buff and rotate in. Malefic Gun, first item rush for Emon. He needs the range here. So ONIC, easy take on this objective.
Yeah. It took a lot of effort from BTR to be able to find their way into that fight, but in the end, it wasn't enough for them. It was a difficult scenario to be in, I would say. But at the same time, it's proven that ONIC is just better at team fighting at that point. And especially because they're equipped in the early stages. This early game comp that they have with the Barretts, with the Paquito, it's just way too good. But this time though, they're just utilizing the Ruby as well as the Farsa just efficiently. Be always a threat, you know? Because if you're BTR, you're always afraid. There could be a bush play that Keyboy can do with the flicker on hand. So up top, Kelra. Oh, he's gonna be able to outplay the hill. Unbelievable.
Oh, man. I thought the Carmilla was a bad game. Well, right now for the Fanny, it might be worse. Finn taking the shadow kill here from Kyrie. Circling equal to be used. They're going for Kyrie. They do have the damage to take him out. Emon able to capitalize on that with the torn apart memory. Good play down here in the bottom lane for BTR.
Oh. Wow. I'm actually surprised like how BTR, well, they're finding ways for sure, but taking down carry is the most important thing at this point because they're stopping the Hayabusa and also allowing for Emon to get a kill. So they achieved so many things out of that play. Now BTR are now slowly working their way back into this game. It started not so well, but now they are finding a lot of ways.
Oh, they're making a play again. Eternal Guard dropped down, but Keyboy should be able to survive that. Really good response there for ONIC to be there on that engage. Now what we're seeing is Nile trying to kind of recuperate here. It's not that he's down too much in terms of levels, but I wonder what the gold difference is right now. I'm not sure if we can actually ask for to take a look at the items to see what the difference is between things, because that's the main thing. There we go. Thank you so much. Now 1.3K between the XP laners, but the jungle's not so bad given how things have gone for Nile. This isn't too bad. 500 gold lead for Kyrie. With this next turtle up, third turtle of the game, they're going to go ahead and work on it. We'll see if they're able to go ahead and secure this one. Nile has to go ahead and approach this carefully. A turret's going to fall though as Kella knocks it down. They're really taking their time to allow Kella hopefully to get here for this fight. Circling Eagle going to be used. Already the marks knocking forward, but the turtle's secured by Kyrie. Emon gets a kill. Kelra waiting with the full stat champ stance. He looking for an opening. Nile goes in. He's able to take out one. There wasn't one for Kelra, though. Now, Kyrie going in with a shadow kill. Kelra's going to go ahead and flicker forward and take out Moreno. So at least something, but it's Kyrie that falls, too. So BTR wins the number team fight there.
Wow, this is definitely BTR showing us that they are really good at 5v5s. You can see how well they dance around ONIC. They go in and out, taking advantage of the sustain that they get from the mid lane, from the Roma, Matilda, and then, of course, the EXP Hylos with this Revitalize. They were able to out-sustain ONIC once again, and that made it really awkward for Kyrie, the Hayabusa. As we have said many times in this series, it's very awkward for assassins to work around sustain, to work around Matilda as well as, you know, maybe Rafaela. This time, Matilda and a revitalized Hylos. And what ends up happening is that Eman is just able to just stack up, just keep on attacking whoever is in front, who's facing for ONIC. And then when the turn apart memory opens up its windows, Eman is just there to collect.
Yeah, this is, it's looking a whole lot like what we saw back in 1 and 2, man. Games 1 and 2, Bigetron by Vitality somehow finds these ways to get themselves back. I mean, again, think what Niall has had to go through. The amount of pressure, being caught, you know, by Keyboy on the Ruby and everything else, getting killed by Kelra. But he's still able to go ahead and do this. And now, even if Kelra surprises him, he takes a couple punches, he's not, you know, he's not going to get bursted down so quickly. So Niall's going to continue to put pressure across the map. ONIC now has to shift their focus for that to make sure that Niall's just not pushing elsewhere, pushing turret down eventually, and able to get real estate across the map. Both junglers doing the same thing here up on the top side now that Lord has spawned.
It's gonna be tricky now because every single lead that ONIC was able to build has now been erased. Of course, there's 1,000 lead ONIC right now has, but it doesn't feel as impactful as it should. And again, another good start by ONIC, but one good team fight from BTR was enough for them to turn things around. It's because of the positioning that we're seeing from BTR, the sustain that they have, understanding properly why and how this kind of composition works. Like what are the ins and outs of a Matilda kind of composition and how do you utilize it and how do you win against assassins with it? ONIC are still the first ones to put themselves in front of the Lord. Vexana down in the bottom lane, not showing himself just yet. A tricky situation now for ONIC. Lord is at 50.
Okay, Moreno might get here in time. They actually delay this Lord take. And Niall's getting his buff, so it's going to reset. So even with that information, they're able to go ahead and handle that wave a bit, at least so it's even. Now Niall and Moreno will be back for this fight. ONIC is respecting the potential setup here that BTR can pull off.
So surely. Kyrie has reset his buffs again. One more cycle, double buff. Bottom lane being controlled by Kelra. Keyboy is there to help a little bit.
They want to make a play. They want to make a play on Kelra. They're going to drop the Eternal Guard. They get the Terrify off, but oh, they miss a little bit. Kelra's trying to get away. The cable, though. He's 1 HP away. That Eternal Guard quite hurtful, but he's actually going to be able to go back to the base. And now, can they get back in time? This is Flying Cloud, so they will be able to travel very quickly. Again, a big factor here is the map that they're currently playing on. The Clouds being able to bring them back quickly, reposition themselves. So a good attempt by BTR to try to take out Kelra, but it just didn't happen.
Did force out the flicker onto Kelra, and Moreno will have his flicker first. It seems like they have already started with the Glorious Pathway, but no commitment just yet, even after circling Eagle Daisu. It's interesting that BTR are wasting some of their ultimates just looking for an opening.
I think they're really just trying to delay ONIC and make them second guess this. One of the strengths, again, of having a Matilda, and it looks like even ONIC doesn't know if they want to fully commit to these mind games of BTR as the Lord is just dragged back and forth between both squads. Looks like Niall's got something else in mind. He wants to go ahead and take the purple buff. He wanted to see if Kyrie would rotate for it, so he's going to take it away, win a crown for Finn. This could have been also part of the plan, man. Just wait for some of these defensive items to be available to make it happen. They know that this Lord alone could potentially get them to the base turrets of ONIC. and vice versa. Loopy, half health, taking some damage here. Shogun as well, he's quite low. They're gonna go for Loopy. Loopy pops it, whoa, pops it, Daytona's welcome, but he was so low, he's gone. They're gonna set it up in the mid lane as Shogun goes next, and Niall's gotta get out of there because he's low. So now it's gonna be a reset. He's gonna go back to base, and ONIC will reset as well.
The pokes of coming out from BTR was enough for Lutpi to be forced to make that play. Albeit good catch coming out from Lutpi, but he was far too low. So when he popped the Daytona's welcome on the right target, the damage was too much for him to handle. He was taken out. And Keyboy had to pop the flicker just to salvage that fight. So it's an XP for XP trade-off. But flickers, battle spells, I mean, gonna be more available for BTR in just quite a while. So ONIC really has to delay this for themselves.
Oh! Huge Eternal Guard dropped down, and Kyrie goes down too. It's a double for Niall. They knew that Kelra was down to the bottom wave, and they set it up, and now in the mid lane, they're going for Kelra. Kelra, he's got stacks, he's got some shields, but he's all against the world. For BTR.
Oh my god, Moreno. The problem for ONIC for the longest time, and showing no signs of stopping, my man. And now, look at them knock into the front door.
They just want to take this turret out. They're going to be back up here. BTR knows it. They're happy with the base turret for now. They still have the Lord to go ahead and spawn and start marching forward. But man, oh man, what a setup from BTR. Taking a look at the items here, Wolf, you see what they've got available. I mean, even the brute force breastplate now for Niall is why it's so difficult to actually burst him down, you know, to kill him down. He's in, and even enough to kind of work around that is just, how does ONIC play the long game here? The long map is what they're dealing with, and that moment of Kelra being on the bottom side made this happen. Now they're going for the bottom turret. They still got to deal with the Lord here. They're going to go ahead and try to clear out the last cannon minion. Kelra will be able to do that, so they maintain the base bottom turret. Tier 2's all down. ONIC sees BTR knocking at championship point for this one, but they'll clear out the waves, and they manage it well as Lord goes down too.
Moreno's just playing out of his mind in this whole grand final. Even in the game that they've lost, still Moreno playing so well, and this game, he is a problem for ONIC.
They just want this base turret, little fake out here. Glorious Pathway drop down, Eternal Guard, they're going for Keyboy, he's quite low, picks up the Immortality. He's gonna be fine, and BTR, they take the discipline route to back off. They got 2 base turrets off that Lord, and now ONIC gets another chance to go ahead and reset and not let that happen again.
It's really dicey spot here for ONIC. You know what's one thing that's fortunate for them is that the Lord will spawn onto the short lane, where their short lane is the side that was pushed up, and their long lane, they still kept their turret intact in that in that lane, so they still have a fighting chance. But now we've reached critical mass for BTR. The Fanny has been a problem, and now is a full problem with this brute force breastplate, so that there is additional anti-CC that you get. So that means that the small amount of crowd control that they have with the Ruby is definitely not going to be enough anymore. And he's also tankier, so gotta be careful about that, mindful about that. ONIC also does not have a marksman, so at this point in the game, he can only do so much with a Paquito. You will need the help of your teammates, which means that a 5-man wipe coming out from ONIC is difficult to pull off. You really have to slowly trickle down BTR if you want to score that. So everything is just difficult now for ONIC.
It's crazy how, again, the story happens. It looks like they're going for a sandwich play to cut off Lutpi. He has no stacks. He could be in trouble. Pops the flicker. They're going to go and crash down on him. Eternal Guard again, and Lutpi is gone. Without the stacks of Feathered Airstrike, he's going to be stunned by Shogun. Good play. Emon still alive as Kelra gets a shutdown. But again, the stun comes through as Keyboy falls, and now Kelra on the run. He's quite low. A quarter of the health. They're going to chase him down. He has the shields, though, so he's going to be fine, but they got a wave to deal with. Down bot and BTR without Niall, though. I don't think they can get much more, even though they're in the base here, unless ONIC decides to go ahead and go for a defense They're going to try to make something happen. Glorious pathway drops down. Finn goes in. Do they want to lock onto the base here? They're trying to delay this as much as they can. But again, the combos come through. Kelra picks up an immortality, but he's going to be in trouble and taken down by Emon. And Moreno goes in with a flicker. It's a double for Emon. The setup from the Maestro, a triple. And they're looking to end it here. Can he get the Maniac? They don't even need it. They're going to go for it and then the base. And there you go. Bigetron by Vitality. They want to go for more. They want the Savage, but they don't care. They'll take the championship from ONIC here.
Denied of a